don't give in. Yeah. Miles and miles you will have been.
Well, hello everybody, it's Suffolk Andy here at Alton Reservoir on the outskirts of Ipswich. We've been here a couple of 3 times, but we're here for a reason. I'm going to show you my new bike. How do I start this? I'll give the bad news out for my Harley friends. Suffolk Andy does not own a Harley anymore. I have sold it and bought a new bike. So last night there was a bit of a buzz on the Tinternet that Weggy was starting up that I'd bought a 650 Turdman scooter. No, if you fell for that, you know, ever out with Weggy because he's a bugger, I tell you. So yeah, so after quite a bit of and ahhing over the last couple of years with the Harley, I finally thought, gee, you know, I want to go back to my roots, and my roots are sport tourers. And I looked at several. I looked at the VFR, I looked at the BMW, the Kawasaki 1400, and tell you the truth, I just couldn't make up my mind. So I thought, well, let's take the plunge when you see one you like and you ride it and you like it. So here it is. It's a BMW K1200S 207 model, 15,000 on the clock. So she's 10 years old, but in very good condition, as you can see. One or two marks on it from wear over the years, but not a lot. What can I say? Completely different to my ZZR, there's no doubt about it. I rid this bike yesterday for 5 miles and 4 miles out here. So I'm now going to go and give it a good old run out and see what I really think of it. The only thing I can say is that it's quite apparent that it's a bit of a rocket ship. I know the ZZR is quick, but this is a bit lighter, a bit smaller, and I think about 168 horsepower, this one, which is about equivalent to my ZZR. But it does feel lighter, and it does feel smaller on the front, I must admit. Got a nice Remus Revolution slip-on, so that's quite good. And it's got a host of things that my ZZR hasn't got. And I will refer back quite a bit to the ZZR because that's the only way I can sort of evaluate the difference. One, it's shaft driven, which is nice. No more bloody chains. So that's a good thing. And I notice it's got a steering damper as well underneath the bars. There's a steering damper goes across. And the electronics are something completely different to the ZZR. The ZZR is just a plain bike. This has got so much bloody stuff on it. I think you've got like a sport mode, a normal mode, and a comfort mode you can put it in. ABS brakes. It's got a stabilising system to keep the bike stable as well. Yeah, quite a bit of stuff on it. Yeah, I like it at the moment. I really do. It's got a collar on the back, but that comes off to make it into a proper seat, because I know young Amy is gagging to get on this bike. I tell you, she's away today, but if she hadn't, I think she'd have been standing beside us here. She can't wait. Let's say ABS brakes, 1 or 2 marks that I've got to sort out, but not a lot. The one thing I did find is when I'm actually sitting on it, it is smaller at the front. It seems smaller. I would say the sitting positions are not that much different to the ZZR. Maybe this one is a little bit more upright. I don't feel like I've got sort of such a crook neck, you know, in the sport style on this one as I do on the ZZR. The only thing I'm trying to get to grips with, and that's the actual handlebars. The grips here, They're factory heated grips and they work lovely, but I find them a little bit small, you know, on my hands. I like a bigger grip. I don't know how I'm going to get round that one, if I do at all. I might get used to these, but I found that they just feel a little bit small because I'm used to something a bit more grippy, you know, a bit bigger, as they say. Yeah, there's a lot of it, electronics on it. It tells you everything. It tells you when to get up in the morning, when to go to bed, and all this sort of stuff. You won't be surprised how much petrol you're using, how many, you know, you name it, it's on there. Yes, some people would say that could make things go wrong more, I don't know. But, yeah, so there you go. That's Andy's new bike. As you know, I agonised quite a bit over the Harley. You know, I nearly had it just over 2.5 years. We stood here and I show you. And it doesn't mean I'm out of the cruising scene, because I'm not. I enjoyed it. But I must say that the Harley was not the bike for me at this time. I'm not saying it would be in the future or whatever, but at this time, it wasn't really for me. I loved it one minute and I hated it the next, you know. And I hope that it will go to somebody who really will appreciate that bike, because it deserves it. It's a lovely bike. But it wasn't for Suffolk Andy at this moment. Oh, the other thing with these is, if you notice, there's no forks. There's no forward forks. The actual suspension is in here. There's a spring here that goes down there to a spring thing, and it's all done on a spring. I'm not going to get into the technical side of this bike whatsoever, because, as most of you know, that's not me. I'm not interested. I just want to ride it. I don't need to know every dimension. It's not interesting to me. So, I think the next thing is to go out and ride it, throw it around a bit, and see what she's like. Should we go for a ride on this thing and let's get it started? Right, here we go. Right, you have to hold the clutch in on these. It's got a nice saying from the old Remus. It's not over noisy. There you go, nice little pop there. And that's just a little bit. Should we ride it, eh? Yeah. Like I say, you have a brake failure comes on, but as soon as you ride off, that will go. You got all your instrument panels here. Old-fashioned style this side and your new style this side, with all your digital readouts and everything out on there. You can put so much on there, it's unbelievable. Like I say, it's a lot smaller at the front than I'm used to. The ZZR is a lot bigger. The tank, to me, is minute. The ZZR tank is a lot bigger. So you're a little bit different here. But it's actually for the actual sitting position and riding, there's not a lot in it. This might be a little bit more raised on this sitting position, but that's about it really. Right, let's ride it. Yeah, I feel like I'm sitting more over it than behind it on here. The one thing I did find that was really strange was the back brake pedal. Slightly different position to what I'm used to. And when I first read it on the test ride, I actually was sort of wondering where the hell it was. But now, just riding this little bit, I've got it. I know where it is, you know. It's just nice. But as you can see, it's friggin' mental. And that was in third gear, and I didn't hardly pull the throttle back at all. The sit position is very, very good. I don't feel like I've got too much pressure on my hands on the bars. Can't really thrash it around here. It's all 30 mile an hour in this part of the world. Yes, that Weggy, we're going to have to keep an eye on him, a little bugger. Telling everybody I'd bought a Turdman, a scooter. I don't think, if you fell for that, you must be nuts. I don't think you can ever see something handy on a scooter. But there's a story to that, and I've told it before. I did pass my test on the scooter, a Lambretta, a long, long while ago. Oh, this is so smooth. It is so smooth. In fact, you have to be a little bit careful because it is too smooth. I don't know what this suspension is going to be like on the front here. I've never experienced it before. A spring instead of dampers. I don't know. Apparently the brakes as well, if you use the front brake and you're not using the back brake, it compensates the back brake for your braking on the front. So it says in the handbook. But if you then use the back brake yourself, that will let you use the back brake, if you know what I mean. That sort of thing, you know. And it does tell you what gear you're in all the time, which is lovely. That's something that I've missed over the years, because I had a bike years ago, an old CX500C, that told you what gear you was in, and I haven't had one since. And we've all done it, and you've got to, you can all put your hands up to this. You've all been in 6th gear and went for the invisible gear, which you haven't got. We all do it. I do it sometimes on the Harley, on the ZZR. Oh, it's so smooth on the front, weightless. But you can get good feel. I'm getting good feel from that wheel, you know, that tyre. I think they're Michelin on here. New tyres as well, so that was handy. I ain't got to buy no tyres for a while. I'm used to Pirelli Angels, but I swear by them. But these seem okay. But I must admit, my love for bikes is like a sport tourer bike. That's what I like. And I inkled for it all the time. You know, I was inkling for it all the time. I kept trying to convince myself that I love my Harley Davidson, and I did. I loved the look of it. I used to stand there and look at it and go, "Do you know, you're a piece of friggin' art. You really are a piece of art. You look so good." And till I read it, and then I thought, yeah, bimbling around Suffolk, ideal. Going on long distances, no thank you. You know, so I knew, when I first got it, and I went down to the Ace Calf with Weggy a couple of years ago now. When I first got it, I knew then that it wasn't a long distance bike. You know, you got up to 70, you could probably sit there, but you got very fatigued after a time. I had no screen on it because I don't like screens on sort of cruise bikes. And tell you the truth, I got absolutely knackered. Where you can sit on one of these, you know, sitting here nicely like this, tucked in, and you can just go mile after mile. Yeah, you're going to feel bloody knackered at the end of the day. If you do 300-400 miles a day on one of these, you're going to feel it, you know. But you're not going to be so buggered up as you are on one of those Harleys, I tell you. Not a Sportster anyway. A Sportster is not a long distance Harley ride. I know some of the bigger Harleys are, you know, with the armchairs and the stuff, you know. They are, but not. I don't think the Sportster is actually. It's just a good looking motorbike, basically. But all I can say, I just love the handling of it at the moment. It's so smooth and buttery. I can feel that, you know, feel that confidence coming up from that front wheel, you know. I can feel it. It's lovely. Feel sure-footed. Whoa, you have to be, yeah. You can really turn this in. I think what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to go to Harwich, and I'm going to have to go on the world's twistiest road, which is up the road from here, and give it a go. Well, it's my favourite little spot when I stop for a vape. That is the K1200S. I'm going to see if I enjoy this bike. I think I will. Just getting used to it. Yeah, I quite like. Anyway, boys and girls, all ride safe. Certainly love each other. Suffolk. Andy.